I think that we need to break down our game of 20 questions into two 10 question segments.
I thought we were going to do a lightning round and see if we could get through 20.
We could do that too. So I do believe we're on question number 10.
Okay.
Having this office with everything that we've collected and put up so creatively, what does it do when you're in here, and how do you feel about moving on, knowing that we will be soon having this space up for sale, and while we will be taking most of our eclectic collection with us, if not all, if the right person came along and they fell in love with it, we would leave it.
Mm-hmm.
What is all this stuff? Because I can only imagine some people walk in and they think, wow, there's a lot of stuff. You people are crazy. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Oh, that's awe-inspiring. I could look at it for hours. And there's probably some people who don't even have a thought about it because it is just so crazy and foreign that it doesn't even make sense to spend time on that.
So to me, I love this space. I love what we've done with it. It's forever captured in my mind. The stuff is just stuff. It's really cool, but it's just stuff. If someone else wanted it to love and appreciate it, I could let every piece of it go. Would I want to? No, because there's a lot of stuff I love here. But I think there's a time and a place for everything. I think there's a beginning and an end of everything. And I think this is just the next step in the evolution of who we are and where we go. So there's a lot of work involved, but there's a lot of love in doing the work to get it to this point, that it doesn't hurt to remove it. It doesn't hurt to take it away now. And I would wish that the people that saw this place would love it the way it is. I just don't know that it is for everybody. But to me, it's yummy. Every place I look, every spot that my eye rests, there's something yummy to look at. And I think that's important in my life, to keep me inspired, to keep me changing, to keep me growing, is to stay creative, to stay yummy, to keep looking at objects and their shapes. Because when I go out into the world, I can look at objects and shapes and find the parts I need to do the thing I do. And having all these crazy shapes and all these items allows my eye to just follow around and picture all the shapes and all the things. And I think it just keeps my mind in a creative space.
I just had a thought that somebody else walking in here would not ever have the same reaction to this space as you would or as I would, because you know the stories that were involved in the collecting and the finding.
Just about every single piece.
And the putting in of the different pieces, and everyone has a story. So if you don't know that the picture of the lighthouse in Maine was a Christmas gift that somebody took out of her parents' attic, knowing that you would like this dusty old relic of the past, and we put it on the wall, and we had a boot camp in here where people from Maine looked at the painting and they said, I think that's an iconic landmark in Maine. Where did you ever get that from? And then it's hung on the slanty part of the ceiling as if it was going to fall off, because it's a bit of that Alice in Wonderland, just play with your mind effect. Without knowing that story, and then the fact that there was a shelf put on the wall underneath it with lighthouses screwed to the box, so they really are defying gravity, and people have to do a double take to figure out what's going on with it. Somebody else is not going to walk in and know all that. They're just going to look up and say, huh, that's crazy. There's stuff on the ceiling.
Yeah, they won't know the story. We can look at each and every piece that's here and tell a story about it. Just about everything here I could tell a story about, or you could tell a story about. Because either I collected it, or you collected it, or someone donated it to us, which then we could tell a story about.
Yeah.
And isn't that important, though, about life, is that our lives are a collection of stories. And becoming really good at telling those stories helps impact people's lives, because they learn from it. We learn in a story more than we learn in a lecture. We learn because I think innately we are storytellers. I think if you look back hundreds, if not thousands of years, that's how we communicated, was through stories. That's how we grew as people, is by telling stories. That's how we helped our children grow, and is because we told these stories that kept things alive and kept it a rich content. So I think the stories are powerful, and that's what this room implies to me as just power and story. Everything in here has a story. Everything in your home has a story as well. Most people don't think of it that way. Most people just think of it as a trinket or a tchotchke or a thing they put or whatever, or a painting they found, but they never really get into the story of what it's about. And I think we've learned and we've created a culture, at least a culture of the two of us, if not everyone, that the power is in the story of every little detail of every little thing that there is.